Alright, so I think we just gotta go ahead and put some respect on Boruto's name because in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 3, Boruto finally shows us what the Rasengan Uzuhiko is really about, and I just gotta say, man, that this is one of the most broken abilities that we've ever seen in the entirety of Naruto and Boruto. This ability is insane, and the fact that Boruto is doing this all in his base form makes this even crazier. So let's just jump right into it. Rasengan Uzuhiko, as it stands, is an ability to where Boruto uses a Rasengan and it swirls around him and it swirls around the opponent, and at first look it's like, what is Boruto doing? Code is confused, I'm confused, and then as the fight progresses, Boruto is just slowly giving him chances to give up again. He's saying, this is your last chance, take him to the Ten Tails, and Code is trying to attack Boruto, but Boruto is just easily not getting hit by anything he's throwing at him, and Code is so confused. And there's another panel to where Damon and Ada are sitting, and Damon explains that it seems like he's using the rotation of the planet and using that in a Rasengan form. And I think in the simplest way that I can explain this is that Rasengan Uzuhiko attacks you using the rotation of the planet, right? But it constantly attacks you and does not stop until either Boruto or the planet stops rotating. I want to just reiterate, this is insane because one, the planet is not going to stop rotating unless someone makes it, which is incredibly hard to do in this universe. And two, this is sort of like an Amaterasu, but in a Rasengan form. And what I mean by that is that this technique is going to continuously damage the person it's targeting until the user stops. I think Sasuke may have given Boruto some inspiration on this, as well as possibly Kashin and Koji, which I'll talk about in just a second, and gave him some inspiration as to how to make this technique. But right now this technique is absolutely busted, and once he uses it on Code immediately starts dying. Like, the timer has started. Code either has to comply or this technique is going to eventually kill him. So Boruto used the technique on him, and then Code is now on the ground begging for help, and Boruto's just saying that I gave you a chance and you didn't take it, and I really need to find this Ten Tails, right? He's still harping on the idea that he needs to find the Ten Tails or else. And they kind of get interrupted in their conversation because guess who pops up? Kawaki pops up with the gang. Kawaki pops up with Himawari, which is very nice to see Himawari again for Boruto. Boruto gets a shocked face once seeing Himawari, because I mean, imagine you don't get to see your sister for X amount of years because you're on the run and people think you did something, right? So I like that just for a second we got to see some sort of human element in Boruto. He's not just so cold faced all the time. Seeing someone that he cares about and seeing that emotion get reflected on his face. Kawaki finally gets to see Boruto again. It's been so long. Boruto has not seen Kawaki in such a long time. Kawaki said something along the lines of, so you chose your own hometown to die in, right? Kawaki is still kind of on this mission to eliminate all the Otsutsuki, still kind of dislikes the fact that Momoshiki is inside of Boruto and wants to get rid of him, but it's weird, right? Because Boruto has all this confidence and he's not even fazed by Kawaki, you know? Like, he's just standing there kind of chill and he's kind of just trying to complete this mission he's on. And it's also interesting to how Shikamaru didn't actually give any orders to take down Boruto. They were primarily focusing on Code. And it's interesting how Kawaki, while he was focused on Code, now that Code had disappeared through one of his claw grinds, he's now focusing on Boruto. So I do find it interesting that Shikamaru didn't really put too much emphasis on Boruto being there. Maybe he sees that Boruto is actually trying to take down Code and may not be a threat, because if he was a threat, then maybe he would have attacked one of the people. Moving on to another point in the chapter, I think it's also important to recognize how the Ten Tails has impacted the world so far and kind of what the Ten Tails is trying to do. So going back to the tree thing with the claw grinds, and the claw grind turned that one guy into a tree, seems like this is going to be a prevalent theme within the story, because we actually see Bug in the same position as this guy, and Sarada's looking at the tree and he's looking at the ninja in the tree and saying that the Ten Tails, by eating an Otsutsuki, it becomes a god tree, right? But its instincts might be to eat people now, and perhaps this is a failed god tree. and indicating that this guy, he's still alive, he's still kicking. Same thing with Bug. Bug is still alive, he's still kicking, and he's still doing good, I guess. It depends on how you look at it. But yeah, this seems to be some sort of failed god tree, and something Code did. I think he turned the Claw Grime sentient. He gave it a way to think for itself and gave it a more intelligent thought process. I think that's what Code did to the Tentails by infusing some of that human element into him. And potentially the Tentails may take over Code and start having more intelligent thoughts and becoming a huge problem. So we finally got to see some other cool stuff besides the Rasengan and those interactions. And it turns out that a little tiny frog pops up, and none other than Kashin Koji's frogs that he used back in Boruto Part 1. And he's using these frogs now to spy on Code because he planted one on Code before he disappeared. And the frog also has another frog communicating with it, and the other frog follows Code to where the Tentails is at, and he sees a Tentails covered in straps, and it looks sort of like a weird monster looking thing. Like, it's very skinny, it's very deprived. It seems like that Pokemon Octillery, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Little squid thing looks exactly like that, but to a lesser degree. So it seems like Code has been constantly draining this Tentails, making him smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and abusing this thing. But there may be something to where Code may be exceeding the limit and may be taking too much advantage of this thing, and it's going to backfire him any second now. So very interesting. I like this addition where Boruto is actually holding a hand sign, and I'm guessing it's either going to be one or two things. Boruto is going to summon the flames that Kashin Koji used, or he's going to teleport towards Code. So either one of those things could be it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the chapter. What do you think about Rasengan Uzuhiko? Is it one of the most broken techniques we've seen so far, or do you think there's some sort of limitation to it? And what do you think happened to the Tentails at the end of the chapter, and what jutsu do you think Boruto is planning to use? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.